Right now, somewhere in the world, a baby is being born, and that baby will have absolutely no memory of it, not a flash, not a feeling, nothing. And here is the strange part. You were that baby once. You arrived into a world of blinding light, deafening noise, and overwhelming sensation, the most intense moment of your entire existence. And yet, when you reach back for it, there is only silence. Why? You might assume it is because babies are too young to form memories, but that is not right. Infants remember things all the time. A newborn recognizes its mother's voice within hours of birth. A 3-month-old recalls a mobile above the crib. So your brain was not switched off. It was recording constantly. The recordings just did not survive. Psychologists call this infantile amnesia, the near universal inability of adults to recall anything from before age 2 or 3. Sigmund Freud named it in the early 20th century. Though he got the cause wrong, he assumed memories were repressed, hidden away because early childhood was too raw to access consciously. He was wrong about the why, but something real was being lost. The actual explanation is structural. When you were born, your brain was roughly a quarter of its adult size, growing at a staggering rate. But the hippocampus, the region most responsible for long-term memory, was one of the last structures to fully mature. In 2014, researcher Paul Frankland at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto discovered something unexpected. Infant brains did form memories. The problem was neurogenesis. New neurons flooded the hippocampus so rapidly they physically disrupted existing circuits, rewiring connections, overwriting files. Your childhood was not erased by trauma, it was dismantled by growth. Franklin's colleague, Sheena Josselyn, confirmed this. Artificially slowing neurogenesis in infant mice allowed early memories to persist far longer than normal. The faster the brain grows, the less it can hold on to. But there is a second layer. Even when the hippocampus stabilizes, early memories stay fragile for a different reason. Memory is not just about storage, it is about retrieval, and retrieval depends on language. Research by Harlene Hayne at the University of Otago showed that young children encode experience in sensation, emotion, and image, not in narrative, not in words. When you try to remember being 3, you are using a system built on language and linear story. But those early memories were stored in a completely different format, like trying to open a file on software that no longer exists. This is why the memories that do survive from early childhood tend to be emotional snapshots, a feeling of warmth, a smell that means something without knowing why. Emotion has its own encoding system, anchored in the amygdala, which matures far earlier than the hippocampus. You may not remember your 3rd birthday, but if something frightening happened that day, some ghost of that feeling is still in you. Now here is where this becomes something more than neuroscience. The most formative years of your life left almost no conscious trace. You were shaped by experiences you cannot remember. The attachment patterns your brain formed before you had words are still running quietly right now, influencing how you trust, how you respond to conflict, how you love. John Bowlby, the psychiatrist whose work on attachment theory reshaped developmental psychology, argued that infant emotional memories do not disappear. They sink below conscious recall and become the default settings of your nervous system. You do not remember learning to fear abandonment. You do not remember the first time you felt safe in someone's arms, but those moments were recorded, and they are still active. That is the real answer, not because nothing was recorded, but because the brain you use to remember was still being built, and the self who does the remembering was not yet there to witness it. You arrived into this world wide open, and everything that happened before you learned to forget it made you who you are.